Hey guys, this is just a quick build update on the 4-wheel camper. Let's get this thing started. All the tools and materials used in this video will be on my Amazon affiliate storefront. You can find that at amazon.kflo-crib.com. Hey guys, first and foremost, I want to wish each and every one of you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and whatever holiday you like to celebrate. I know it's been a while since I uploaded the video. I've been really busy with work. Been a year-end rush trying to get through some of these projects. And I've also been busy building the camper out so it's better suited for the winter time camping adventures. And that's what I've been working on for the past several weeks. I gutted out the whole entire camper and gonna go through some of the mods I put on the truck in order to give you guys a little bit of an idea as to what other upgrades you can do when it comes to camping or outdoorsy type adventures. Now let's get to the truck. So the first thing you'll notice is I pretty much moved the diesel heater to this side. It was on the passenger side, but I'll get more into the details of that a little bit later. And there's the diesel fuel tank, which feeds the diesel heater all the way around. I'm planning on moving that diesel tank over to the driver's side too, so all the refueling will be done on one side of the truck. Alright guys, so here's the passenger side, and I've converted the window to a hatch because the hatch is definitely much more useful than that sliding window. And here's what it used to look like for comparison. The new hatch isn't as clean yet, but I am planning on smoothing it out and adding some graphics on top of it. So let's open that up. So this door is made from birch plywood that's been coated with fiberglass resin. I put about 3 or 4 coats, I think 4 or 5 actually on the outside, and on the other side probably about 3. And that will definitely keep it protected at least from the water. We'll see how it holds up over time though. So it should be at least fairly watertight. There's these weather stripping that put all the way around to keep water from coming in. And these are actually compression latches that compresses the door up against the frame of the camper in order to keep everything sealed from the elements. And I'm pretty happy with at least how it functionally came out. The fiberglass resin is definitely tough to work with at low temperatures because it wasn't laying as flat as I wanted to. So some of the surfaces, there's definitely imperfection even after sanding it. And I'll definitely be putting in some type of filler, body filler, and repainting over the thing in order to keep it smooth and at least looking pleasing to the eyes. I have all my camping gear on those 2 containers. And the idea is to have this pretty much as an outdoor / indoor kitchen, so you could access it from both the outside and the inside. So I'll be eventually making some organized shelving units in there. But in the meantime, I just wanted to be able to still use the camper as is. And right there guys, I have a water pump that pumps water from the 16-gallon water tank that I have inside the camper. And I'll show you that one when we go inside. It does feed into this hose here guys. So loading the water would be from the front using one of these RV inlet covers. So pretty happy with how that came out. It's definitely sealed from elements. I use silicone all the way around and inside to keep water from coming out through the sides there. Alright, so now let's go inside guys. So here we are inside guys. We'll start from the passenger side and work all the way around so that I can give you guys a organized description of the progress. So we'll start here on the back side of the passenger side. This is the same sink I had before and put in a brand new faucet. It's not plumbed yet. I ripped out all of the previous cabinets that I had, which was on the passenger side and on the driver's side.
Flashback.
So here's how it used to look guys. This was one of my first woodworking projects. Those storage boxes on top I put in using birch plywood as well that's been shellacked. As you can see, nothing was exactly permanent. You had to take the cushions off in order to remove the top of these boxes so that you can access the stuff underneath. And I mean, it worked okay at the time, but it wasn't ideal. Top access to storage means anything on top must be moved to the side. So it became a constant having to shuffle things around to access the stuff underneath. And that got old pretty quickly. And here are some of the original storage that was from the 4-wheel camper shell. These were already put in there when I bought the shell itself. And you'll see how I converted that too. And here was the countertop that I built. And here's that same sink with a standalone battery powered pump, which is that little black thing that you see in the corner there. It worked okay, but it was not very reliable. So that's why I went with an actual faucet with a hardwired pump instead. And these were just more random boxes of storage that's accessed from the top. And I did actually get rid of that toilet too. It took up too much room. I have a collapsible portable toilet now, because you don't really need a full-size toilet, to be honest, when it comes to having a 4-wheel camper.
End of flashback.
I ended up putting in this whole cabinetry because I figured having all the kitchen stuff on the passenger side will make it so much more efficient, because I can access it from inside here and also from the outside. And I did have to cut holes into the plywood that was there already, as I'm going to be putting covers on there too to make those as hidden compartments. So eventually all the kitchen stuff will be hard organized right onto the wood itself. It's no longer going to be in these like storage containers. So I am planning on putting in doors for this, guys, so don't you worry. I just have to get the kitchen itself organized and the proper workflow thought out much better before I fasten anything down. So moving forward here is the inlet for the water system, and there is the water pump. It's not really plumbed yet. I still have to do the electrical work on there, but so far everything looks good. Now moving towards the front of the camper, I've pretty much converted it to like an L-sectional mini couch. I figured that even with the camper top down, I could still kind of stealth camp and take a nap in here, kind of curled up, if worst case scenario comes. But overall, like I like that idea much better than my two previous benches. So now let's get a little bit more on the technical side of this build. So under here is the water tank and the battery system. So this is a 16-gallon water tank. It's fastened down with the cinch strap, and it's held down in place by those sections of plywood so it shouldn't slide around on bumpy rides. I did upgrade my power system. This is a lithium iron phosphate battery that's 100 amp hours with an MPPT solar charge controller, and this actually doesn't need to be vented, so it works so much better now that it's more towards the center of gravity of the truck, as it used to be there, and that was a bit of a pain in the ass. So also with lithium iron phosphate, I can discharge it to pretty much 100% and it won't damage the battery, unlike my previous AGM battery, which you could only discharge up to 50% before you damage the battery. So I just put the cushions back, and moving over to the driver's side, this is where I'm going to keep the cooler slash fridge for the most part, because by leaving it on the floor like this, I could open this up without having to pop up the top, because that was a pain in the ass when this was sitting here and then I had to load up more stuff into the fridge from grocery shopping, and I had to pop open the camper. So keeping it on the floor definitely will work much better for my purpose. So now on the driver's side rear, right now I don't have anything, but I'm planning on building probably like a drawer system in this corner for more of my clothes and other electronic storage. So this is definitely, I think, a great spot for it. And then moving to the bottom, this is now where the diesel heater is sitting. Initially the AGM battery was there because it's vented, so you can see there's vents, but now I have the heater pretty much sitting there and it's sucking in the air directly from the outside. I used to have the heater recirculate, but since the camper is so tiny, it got way too hot in here very quickly, even with all the windows open. So this will alleviate some of that issue by sucking in air from the outside instead.
And here are some of my lessons learned, guys, when it comes to at least building out this 4-wheel camper and building out the truck in general for my weekend adventures. So the first one is the solar charge controller is very important. I used to have a pulse width modulation PWM solar charge controller, which is super cheap, but it didn't work as well during overcast or rainy days, so I was not getting as much output from the battery because it was more drained from the night before. So that's why I went with a MPPT solar charge controller. Now the other thing that I've been trying to do as best as I can with this build is to just integrate everything onto the truck itself, onto the camper itself, because usually I have all my camping gear, any type of equipment like camera gear, pretty much bundled in little kits, and when it's kitted out it's definitely clean, but the only issue is you're adding another process to unpacking, to reorganizing. So I'm organizing the overall kitchen side so it's just integrated into the camper. I open up the back side and all of my camping gear and my kitchen gear is right there, so I just take out as I need one as soon as I open up the side hatch door. And I do have a few other things I want to add to the camper, including gas struts for the hatch, probably a 270 awning that wraps the passenger side of the truck, and a shower awning too, so that would be cool, especially for showering out in the middle of nowhere. I also do want to give a quick shout out to a bunch of YouTubers too, because a lot of my ideas came from what they've already experienced and watching and learning from their videos. So first and foremost, I want to give a quick shout out to Grizzly and Bear Overland. They have a pretty awesome camper on their Defender, which is really nice. Their camper is very similar to mine. It's probably about the same size, so I'm taking a lot of their ideas. I also want to give a quick shout out to Alucab, because the whole outdoor kitchen idea was actually from one of their builds, and I was like, whoa, that's really cool having an outdoor kitchen already integrated into the camper shell. So I took that idea and went a little bit step further. So it's now both an indoor and outdoor kitchen. Another shout out goes to 4X Overland, and it's just little tidbits of ideas here and there that I was able to implement at least on my build. And last but not least, quick shout out to Will Prowse for making those great solar electrical videos, because that's how I learned a little bit more on choosing the proper solar charge controller, choosing the proper battery. So quick shout out to you guys. I hope this was helpful for your build, because I know with customization it takes a lot of trial and error and a lot of learning from other people's experience. So I hope you learn from mine. And if you guys have any thoughts as to other upgrades I can put onto the camper, onto the truck, just leave them in the comment section below. I'm definitely open to suggestions. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Till next time, peace.
Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell too so you're up to date with my latest video releases.